What's up, comic book fans? It's the Emerald Enthusiast of the Multiverse Musings Podcast Network. Here with a double review, the Titan Hero series figure and the Marvel Legends figure of Sersi. So I've been wanting to do a video comparing and contrasting Titan Heroes and Marvel Legends. And I recently found both of these figures on clearance. And since Sersi was my favorite character from the Eternals, I thought I'd go ahead and pick these up and do a video. So let's get a closer look at the details of these figures now. Let's look at the Marvel Legends figure. Here is the front bottom. It says Eternals and Marvel's Sersi. We get partial windows on each side as well as studio shots of Sersi. On the top of the packaging, we get the Eternals logo. On the back, we see the Gilgamesh Build-A-Figure as well as headshots of the other figures available in this wave. On the back top, we get a brief bio of Sersi in 5 different languages. The English version says, "The Eternal with an affinity for humanity, Sersi has the ability to manipulate matter, changing the makeup of any non-sentient material she touches." Here is the figure as seen through the front window. There's the Build-A-Figure piece. The figure is centered well. Here's the set of alternate hands, and I do like the Marvel Legends packaging. And speaking of packaging, let's go ahead and get a look at the Titan Hero series packaging. Here is the 12-inch Titan Hero series figure in the package. Here's the bottom front. It says Titan Hero series. There's the Eternals logo. It says Eternals, and there's a nice headshot of Gemma Chan. We see similar studio shots of Gemma Chan on each side of the packaging. The bottom is just a field of black, and on the top it says Eternals. Here's the front of the packaging. I don't like the fact that half of the figure is obscured by the box. However, I do like this protective window that you get in the front here. That isn't always the case with Titan Hero series figures. This is the inner cardboard tray from the Marvel Legends figure, and you can see some symbols from the Eternals here. This is the figure free of the outer packaging, but still in the inner plastic. Here is the Titan Hero series figure, free of the outer packaging, but still bound to the inner cardboard. And here we see Sersi in 2 different scales, the 6-inch Marvel Legends figure and the 12-inch Titan Hero series figure. There's a lot to like about both of these figures. I do think you get your money's worth. However, there's also areas where I take issue, and I do think there could have been some improvement. So let's go ahead and get a look at both of these releases from Hasbro. Let's have a look at the lower body of the Marvel Legends figure, and there are obvious positives and obvious negatives. She's fairly sturdy. There was a couple of times I was doing this test and the figure fell over, but I still think she's pretty good in that area. As far as paint goes, the paint application is amazing. I love this metallic green paint. Good sculpting here. So I think that looks really good. I mean, you can just see the light dancing off of this. That silver paint looks good as well. Good sculpting with all of these lines that you saw on the costumes in the Eternals. So, double jointed knees, by the way. So there is some good articulation. Some pivoting in the feet. You get to go back that far. However, there's a pretty serious problem when it comes to the hips. Now, with this skirt part, there is this slit over here that gives this leg a little bit more room. But this part really hinders the hips, and I'm afraid if you tried to force it too much, you may damage that part of the figure. So you can get her to step back pretty well, I will say that. But as far as like doing a kicking motion, it's very limited. So that's how the lower body looks. Again, paint really good, articulation not so great. I should also mention that the quadriceps swivel that is standard on Marvel Legends figures, it is present with this figure, but again, you're dealing with this skirt area, so be careful. This leg seems to articulate easier than the other leg. But again, exercise caution if you're doing any articulation in that area. Let's have a look at the torso now. And the line work on this and the paint application, those continue to be the strengths of this figure in the various areas. You can see how good that green paint looks. All this intricate line work. You can see that goes all the way around. See how intricate that is back here. Unfortunately, again, the articulation is suspect. There's no lower torso articulation. You do get pretty good articulation with the upper torso here, although there's this gap when you rock her back and you rock her forward. There's a smaller gap, but still, that doesn't really look attractive. I will say that at least that line work goes up to the top part of the abdomen there, so I do appreciate that. So again, a mixed bag on the torso. As we have a look at the arms here, and they're good. They're not great, but again, a lot of good sculpting work here. Like how that looks. Very intricate here, going all the way down on the forearm, as well as on the inside of the biceps here. Get good articulation at the wrist here. That does have that hinge, so you can get it to kind of rock up if you need to. A little disappointed there's no bicep swivel. Now, if you move her hair here, you can get this arm to go around 360 degrees. Same for the opposite arm. As far as the wingspan here, you can get the arms to go out that far. You can get them to go up a little bit here. And again, you can get this arm to go around 360 degrees. So I think the arms hit the mark. I just wish that there would have been a little bit more as far as articulation goes, in particular that bicep swivel. Here is a quick look at the Build-A-Figure piece. Here is the alternate set of hands. And here is Sersi with the alternate set of hands. Before I compare the head sculpts, let's take a look at the lower body of the Titan Hero Series figure. And I will say this, it's very sturdy. So that's a plus. Also, lots of good sculpting. You can see plenty of line work here. That's certainly admirable. You see that on the back of the skirt part here. As far as articulation goes, it's about what you'd expect. You can get her to kick forward a little bit. I would be really careful with trying to force this because I feel like you could damage this part of the figure. You can get her to go out about that much before you start to feel resistance here. So again, be very careful with that. Again, good line work all the way around, but the obvious place where this figure comes up short is the paint application. Like for instance, there's supposed to be this silver oval on the side here. You can see that on the Marvel Legends figure, as well as the silver finish on the skirt part, and that's obviously not there on the Titan Hero Series figure. So let's look at the torso now, and it is accurate to the character. Lots of good sculpting work with the lines. That continues to be a strength. Although around here, again, you have this port, and if you've ever seen my videos, you know how much I complain about the Titan Hero Series line. Having these ports back here, those are just such an eyesore. But I won't belabor that point because I've talked about it so much. Check out my other videos if you want to hear me talk about those. Unfortunately, no articulation in the lower torso, no articulation in the upper torso. Pretty much what you see is what you get here. And much like we talked about before, there is some paint missing. You know, there should be some more silver down here. Down here on the sides as well. And also, obviously, this metallic green looks better than this dull green. So, as far as the torso goes, I mean, it's what I expect. But I really wish that Titan Hero Series would find a way to add at least a couple of more joints to their figures. As we have a look at the arms here, and they aren't bad as far as Titan Hero Series figures go. There is pretty good paint application, more than I thought there would be. No movement at the wrist, no movement at the elbows, unfortunately. Pretty good shoulder movement, though, I must say. So as far as that goes, pretty impressive. Same for this arm. This is an open palm over here. But again, it goes around 360 degrees. So not a bad effort on the arms from Hasbro here. Let's go ahead and compare the two head sculpts. In terms of the Marvel Legends head sculpt, I will say that the articulation is really good. You can get her to look side to side very easily. You get the head to go up and down. If you want to, you can get it to go all the way around. I would be careful with this hair, though. It feels like if you did that a lot, you might damage the shoulder paint. Facial expression is pretty good. It's not completely lifeless, but I don't feel like this really looks like Gemma Chan. I really feel like something is off here. Now, the hair sculpting is good. You can see the individual strands. And the skin itself looks pretty good, but there's just something about the likeness that I really feel like it's lacking. So here's the Titan Hero Series head sculpt, and I've got to say, I think this one looks more like Gemma Chan. It's not perfect either, but I looked at numerous pictures of her before I did this review, especially in the Sersi outfit, to see like how her hair would look and how accurate that was to the figures that we have here. And I really do think that the Titan Hero Series head sculpt is better. You wouldn't think that, since the Marvel Legends figures are the more collector-centric ones. But yeah, I think this one definitely looks better. In terms of articulation, you can get the head to go side to side. You can get it to look up just a bit and down somewhat. That's actually pretty good for a Titan Hero Series figure. You can get it to go all the way around. And again, the hair on this looks really good. This like little tied bun or whatever you want to call that back here. Not an expert on hair, but that does look really good. Again, I'd be careful turning this around too much. It feels like this could like rub against the paint. But for a Titan Hero Series figure, I've got to say the paint applications are very tight. They look good. No dribbling of paint. Nothing's off center. This is a good quality head sculpt for this line. I certainly hope you have enjoyed this review. If so, please like, subscribe, and tell a friend to do the same. Stay tuned at the end of the video for some articulation shots, and also remember to catch me on the Multiverse Musings vidcast available right here on YouTube. And I'll be back to the internet with more comic book related content soon. But until we meet again, this has been the Emerald Enthusiast, and thanks for watching.